Okay, let's try a thought experiment. What if your entire life was a startup? But instead of getting money from some venture capitalist, you're funded by a divine trust fund. In this explainer, we're going to unpack this really fascinating framework that actually mixes old school mysticism with super modern ideas, like blockchain, to get at the heart of the energy that, well, fuels everything you do.
So this is the central idea, the core metaphor right here. Just imagine for a second. Your life isn't just a journey you're on, it's literally a company you're building, a startup. And the seed money? Well, it's not coming from some tech billionaire. Nope, it's coming from a divine source. It's such a cool way to take this big, mystical idea and, ground it in something we can all wrap our heads around.
All right, so what exactly is this mystic trust fund? Well, the big idea here is that every single one of us is born with a kind of spiritual inheritance. It's not cash, obviously. It's something way more valuable. A constant, unending stream of what the source material calls holy creative fire. And check this out, because this is where we map the journey of that energy. And it's really, really fascinating. See, it's not just some vague, floaty force. It's described more like a cosmic power grid. The power flows from the ultimate source, God, then it goes through your higher causal presence. You can think of that as kind of like your spiritual blueprint or your higher self. From there, it travels down a silver cord and plugs directly right into your heart. Okay, and this is where things get really modern, like 21st century modern. Every single unit of this divine energy, it's tagged. It has a unique identifier, just like a transaction on a spiritual blockchain. And what does that mean? It means that no matter what you do with it, no matter where it goes, it is always traceable right back to you. There's no escaping your own energy signature. It's wild.
So, you might be wondering, what's the catch? Well, here it is. You are in complete control. Your free will, that's the valve on this incredibly powerful stream of energy. You get to decide how to invest this divine inheritance. You can use it for good or, for something else entirely.
And that, of course, brings up a pretty big question, right? If this energy starts out as this pure, amazing potential, what happens when we squander it? What happens when we don't use it that way? What are the real consequences of our choices when it comes to this pure, shimmering light? And wow, this really lays out the two different states your energy can be in. It's a night and day difference. On one hand, you got this pure light described as these weightless, shimmering crystalline bubbles that just naturally want to float upward. But when you take that pure energy and coat it in something like anger or jealousy or greed, it becomes covered in this dense, sticky astral scum, basically black tar. And that tar weighs it down, it sinks, and it turns into what the source calls human efflua. It's such a stark contrast, isn't it? From pure potential to a heavy, sticky burden. Now, this corrupted energy, it doesn't just vanish into thin air. Oh no, it creates a very serious problem, and it starts to attract some pretty unwanted attention. So where does all this tar actually go? Does it just kind of dissolve? Well, according to this framework, absolutely not. In fact, it does the opposite. It acts like a beacon that leads us straight to let's call them the antagonists of this spiritual story. So who are these antagonists? They're described as scavengers or fallen ones, beings who have, for whatever reason, cut their own silver cord. They're cut off from their own divine trust fund. And here's the key. They can't use pure light. It would literally burn them. So what do? They have to feed on the corrupted energy of others. They actively seek out and scavenge that heavy, tar-coated human effluence. It's their food, it's their fuel. And you have to understand, to these forces, your anger, your greed, it isn't just a fleeting emotion. It's a dinner bell, it's a beacon. This corrupted energy has very specific properties they can lock onto. It shows up as this dense, cold, pulsating black sphere, shimmering with a sickly, oily infrared light. And most importantly, it carries a specific frequency, a vibration that basically marks it as available for harvest. And this is where your personal negativity suddenly goes global, because according to the source, this harvested energy isn't just consumed and that's it. It's used to power much larger agendas, things like greed-driven commerce, manipulative systems, all sorts of things. So your personal sludge, for lack of a better word, is literally helping to fuel a much bigger, much more nefarious system out in the world. Okay, wait a minute. You might be thinking, if these scavengers steal the energy, how am I so responsible for it? And that's a fair question. This analogy from the source explains the law of returns just perfectly. Think about it like this. The universe has a super rigid accounting system. By corrupting your energy, you essentially left your car running with the keys in the ignition. You left the door wide open for someone to take it. And this is where that mystic blockchain comes back into play. Because of that unique tag, you can't escape accountability. The universe still sees your signature on that energy, no matter who's using it. You were the one who first coated that pure light with tar, so you're held responsible for all the damage it causes until it gets cleaned up. And listen, this isn't just some abstract philosophical concept. This karmic debt comes back to you in very real, tangible ways. You know that sudden weight you feel on your chest sometimes, or a bad mood you just can't shake? That feeling of heaviness, or when you hit a string of seemingly random bad luck? According to this, that's the avalanche of your own energy rolling right back to its source, you. So what are you supposed to do? Just sit around and wait for that karmic crash? Absolutely not. The good news is, the source provides a really powerful solution, an alchemical key, if you will, to stop that avalanche in its tracks and reclaim your light. And here it is, the violet flame. This is presented as the ultimate tool for spiritual cleanup, for alchemy. And it's not a fire that burns or destroys. Think of it more like a spiritual flame that acts as a universal solvent, a mystic eraser that can literally dissolve that sticky black tar right off of your energy. So how does it work? Well, it's actually laid out as a pretty clear step-by-step process. You consciously identify that tar-coated energy, and then you call forth this violet fire right through your heart. And when you do, that flame consumes the entire negative coating. We're talking the cause, the effect, the record, and even the memory of it. It just wipes it clean. And what's left? The pure, brilliant energy that was trapped inside is reclaimed. And just look at the complete transformation that happens here. It's incredible. That heavy, dense vibration, the one called the mark of the beast, it gets completely overwritten. It's replaced by the power of 999, a mark of attainment. That energy is no longer available to those dark forces. Instead, it becomes a shimmering, iridescent sphere that gets deposited right back into your divine account. So how do you actually invoke this? Do you need some complicated ritual or, I don't know, a magic wand? The source material is really clear on this. Nope, you don't need any special external tools at all. The power is already inside you. Your voice and your heart, that's your wand. That's all you need. And here's the specific command, the activation key from the source. By using the sacred name, I am that I am, it's like you're giving an executive order to your own higher causal presence. You're authorizing it to send that violet light into action and start the cleanup process for you. You know, this is so much bigger than just personal cleansing. When you take responsibility for your own energy like this, you're actually helping to clean up the entire cosmic environment. You're forgiving yourself, you're forgiving the world, and every single time you do it, you're increasing your spiritual capital, what the source beautifully calls your treasures in heaven. So after all of this entire framework really leaves us with one final, profound thought. You are not a passive victim here. You're not just being bounced around by cosmic forces. You are an alchemist. You're standing right in front of a constant stream of pure, creative fire. And every single thought, every word, every action, it's a choice. So the only real question left is, what will you create today?